Waking up early to have more time, focus, and to do the things in life you really want to do. I wanted to implement again the habit of waking up early, and I documented it the first day, the first week, and now after more than a month of pretty much waking up every day at 5 a.m., I want to give you my top 7 benefits of actually doing it, and number 2 and 6 are going to be my favorite ones. So let's just jump right into it with number 1. You get more time. By waking up 2 to 3 hours earlier, this can be the time where you work on something where you never find the time to do it. Like going to the gym. For me, this is sometimes my creative time. I sit down, I edit, and by around 11 or 12, I think it's a good day. I already get a lot of stuff done. And before, I always had the feeling that kind of like the time is running away from me. I'm not doing enough. When the clock hits like 3, 4 p.m., I get super anxious and stressed out. You can get rid of this feeling of not having enough time. The days get much longer, especially right now in winter. I wake up, it's dark, then it gets bright, and sometimes I feel like I'll live 2 days. Okay, number 2 is much better and much more satisfying sleep, and that is something that I didn't really expect. I thought I would be super tired all the time, but actually if you think about it, it does make sense. I mean, the human body is designed in a way that you have to go to bed somewhat a few hours after sunset, and the reason for that is because the hormone melatonin is rising in your blood. It makes you feel tired and you go to bed, but through things like blue light, phone, laptop, TV, the melatonin levels cannot really rise, so your hormones are a little bit unbalanced. You get up all the time at different times, and if you're waking up all the time at the same time early, like 5:30, you're also gonna get to bed earlier. And I'm gonna tell you one thing, when I started to wake up early, I started to appreciate the sleep so much. I go to bed instantly, and waking up also became easier, which I didn't expect at all. I thought waking up at 7 is already pretty hard, so waking up at 5 is probably gonna be horrible, but it was actually the opposite, because I was always getting because after a week I started to get really enough of sleep and going to bed with the sunset and waking up somewhat with sunrise. At the moment it's dark, it's German winter, so, but you get the idea. Number 3 is just how quiet it is in the mornings and how no one interrupts you. I remember this one time I went to the city on a Sunday morning, like 6:30 or something. I was the only person at the most touristy spot, and that's the time where you really get to think, to be with yourself, be creative, and most importantly, stress-free, because most people start the day out in a way where they have to hurry up, get dressed, get to breakfast, get to work, and everything is super and stressful. By waking up early and giving yourself those 1, 2 to 3 hours bonus time, it takes away the stress. And number 4, I would say, is one of the biggest things. To wake up early, it takes at first a little bit of willpower, but in the long run, discipline. Now I would say, just through waking up earlier and starting today, kind of like using a little bit of willpower, but over time developing discipline, there's definitely a ripple effect to other things in life. Like, for example, just filming this video right now. Actually, I wanted to go out, I wanted to fly the drone, I wanted to film this video in a way, but it's raining really heavy outside. So it definitely took me some discipline to film this video actually right now, and I definitely see the direct connection with waking up early in the morning. You start your day out something that is not that easy, and it ripples off to other aspects in life as well. At least it does for me. And number 5 is going to be mental clarity and more effective work. I mean, I do need my 1 to 2 hours to really be awake and not be just like a walking zombie in the morning, but when I wake up at like 7, 8 or 9, usually it takes me much longer to get into the flow. It takes me much longer to get creative or to just be productive. And in the morning, because of all the factors we have mentioned before, no interruptions, having more time, being a little bit more stress-free, you're much more likely to get into the zone, into the so-called flow, where you can stay in for hours. And not having 20 tabs open, watching a video next to it, listening to a podcast, having the radio on. This is what I've been doing before. And now finally I can focus on just one thing for hours. And the 5 a.m. thing definitely helped with it. Okay, and number 6, I think, is one of the most important points. Is it helps with self-confidence. Everybody talks about it, everyone says that it is important, but how do you actually get it? And I would say just by waking up at 5 a.m. I think on the one side it's kind of like this lone wolf mentality. You're out there, you're one of the few people who puts in the work, kind of like this a little bit over the top, super motivational dude. But on the other side, it's just pure you knowing that you put in the work, you go that extra mile and you actually did it, and also you're developing self-trust. When you can trust yourself that you actually follow through with what you do, this is something very big to have. And I definitely didn't have that like 2 or 3 years ago, but at this point I know when I say that I'm gonna do something, I am going to do it because I did it so many times before. And with waking up at 5 a.m., going to that gym in the morning, working on that one project in the morning, doing that one thing that you usually don't have the time to do, really develop that self-trust and the confidence. You did it, you can do it, and that overall leads to more happiness. And also number 7 that is kind of connected to it, the last point for today, is just having time for yourself. I think it's a pretty interesting concept that in our society it's kind of like looked down upon to be selfish, to think about yourself. But the way how I see it is to teach something to someone, you first have to learn it. To give something good to someone, you first have to have it, and you have to fix yourself first. Fill your cup first and then let it overflow on other people. That's a metaphor that I personally really like. And I know it got spiritual real quick. But the thing is, waking up at 5 a.m. overall, all those 7 points, I think lead down to overall feeling better about yourself, being a little bit more happy about life, being more excited about life, and how you can actually wake up every day that early. I'm gonna do a separate video giving you my top 5 tips on how to actually achieve it. And those are gonna be practical, and I'm gonna make sure that if you want to do it, I will help you to get out of bed early enough. Everything that I'm saying and just sharing my experience and giving like some form of recommendations is only going out to the people who feel like they don't have enough time. And if you're doing fine and you're going to bed at 2 a.m. and waking up at 10, I'm 100% cool with that. I think everybody should find something that works for them. But I see it again and again and again that people who go from a 7, 8 a.m. wake up to a 5 a.m., they end up always happier, more productive, and more fulfilled. Subscribe if you haven't yet, and we're gonna see each other in the next one.